Alright, what's up you guys? This is actually the follow-up video for the exhaust setup, and this is all based on somebody who was actually asking about it in the comments. This is all for Bring the Pizza, but we're actually here right now in the morning. As you guys can see, my seals don't work, so we have the whole little towel thing, and I do gotta check some codes on it first. I am misfiring and do have a couple of other codes just related to different things, but if I do turn it on like that, you guys will end up hearing what it sounds like misfiring, and that's not really the goal here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check these codes out real quick, see what they are, and then I'm gonna erase them, and I'm gonna start it up with the codes erased, just so you guys could hear what it sounds like on a complete cold start. And this is a complete cold start. The car's been sitting for about, I want to say about a week or so it's been sitting for a good minute. I mean, it's been here for a week and it's been cold outside, so we'll get to hear what a real cold start sounds like, and then I'll probably show you guys what it sounds like at idle once it actually warms up and gets up to temperature, and I'll get some clips of it actually going on the street with it. It actually expires today, the registration on it, so it'll be the last day that I get to drive it for this whole year. Or for a good minute actually. I need to I need to fix a couple things on it, but yeah, we're just gonna check the codes out real quick, and then once we're done with the codes, we'll do the cold start, and then we'll do the idle, and then we'll do the idle at temperature, and then we'll do a couple clips of it actually moving on the street, and I might do a couple flybys in it. But yeah, we're just gonna see what happens with it. I'll go a little bit more in depth in the whole exhaust system. I have more pictures and I'll have actual video, but once I edit everything, the video should come out a little bit better. But yeah, let's just get into it first. It's still reaching up to temp, so it's still pretty cold. Pretty cold start. And as you guys can see, I do have a throttle position sensor code, so check engine lights on there. I don't know if you guys heard it, it surged for a bit, so the idle kind of went up a little bit and then went back down. But yeah, it's starting to get to a good sound. I mean, it sounds really nice. I do have a little bit of lifter tab up in the front. That's just for it. I mean, it's been sitting for a week in the cold. It's literally winter right now, so nothing new there. I mean, obviously it's just all the oil is at the bottom of the engine, so gonna give it a good minute to warm up, get up to temperature, let that lifter tab go away for a bit, and then yeah, I'll show you guys a little bit more clips of it. All right, so the needle's actually starting to move up now a little bit, so the idle has actually changed already. It doesn't sound as deep or as aggressive. So this is what it sounds like over here from the back. Still sounds pretty clean in my opinion though. The lifter tab is basically gone up in the front. All right, so My brother's gonna be riding passenger, and he's just kind of record kind of the audio. So we're about to get on the freeway though, but yeah, you guys will be able to hear a little bit of everything. We're gonna stick it out the window.
At the light, use the right 2 lanes to merge onto I-25 South.
Is it just kind of audio? So right now we're in second, and we're about to get on the freeway, so we're gonna build up speed.
Stay in 11 lanes.
It's swap, so do keep that in mind. So here we're gonna try to get a little bit of a pull once we do the turn, and yeah, try to see what it looks like, what it sounds like. You guys can see our AFR gauge is in pretty good condition. The only thing holding it back is the evap code right now, which it does bog out a little bit, but for the most part the engine is doing pretty good. So yeah, so we're in first gear, taking it slow. We're about to go full open throttle in 3, 2, 1. It's only 50% tuned, so I couldn't redline it. It does sound a lot crazier at redline, of course, but overall the car sounds pretty healthy. All right guys, so I'm going to show you guys what the actual setup on the car now is. And I made this shitty little Photoshop of how exactly it's all put together. But basically I'm running the long tube headers up front, and those are a 2.5 on the piping, and that just goes into a wide pipe, as you guys can see. And then from literally just the cap back where it bolts up to the DNA one, I just cut off the resonator and I swapped it out with the cherry bomb. And what the cherry bomb does, it's basically just kind of gets rid of most of the rasp. And yeah, that's basically all it does. But one of the biggest reasons why you get a lot of rasp out of the cap back, the DNA cap back, it's basically just the little resonator. If you guys have actually seen the NVIDIA resonator, from the inside, it's thicker, it's really thick, and the inside is not just straight piping through and through. Because if you guys see this one, it's literally just straight pipe through and through. I believe, I'm not sure how thick this is, I believe it's around like 2.7 inches, and this is definitely gonna getting to like the 4 or the 3 something. But it just kind of just goes from skinny to fat for a little bit, and then just back to the regular piping. So what I did is basically this pipe goes very long towards the back, and then it bolts up to this. But all I did was just cut it, and then I just welded the cherry bomb. The only thing is that I didn't reuse this flange, just because I see how if you guys can see right here, it changes sizing. So what I ended up doing is I got another flange like this. It looks exactly like this, and then I just measured it to be a 2.5, just matched it with the rest of the piping, and yeah, basically I just welded a cherry bomb to it. So the two biggest things that make the car sound really good is, one, having the long tube headers, which is a must if you want that deeper tone, and two is getting rid of the rasp. Now if you guys can't get your hands on some long tube headers, which I understand it's hard because I actually ran the DNA short tube headers for quite a bit, then I just recommend focusing on getting rid of as most rasp as you can. And basically the setup I would recommend is picking up the DNA cap back. If you guys have the money, you know, and you guys want to spend on the NVIDIA, go for it. It's a little bit quieter, it sounds nicer, has a little bit of a better tone. But if you're on a budget, pick up the DNA one, go to your shop, or if you know how to weld, do it yourself. But just cut it, swap it out with the cherry bomb. Or if you guys also do want to swap it out for a different resonator, you guys can actually pick up a resonator online for various prices. I mean, the price ranges from anywhere from 50 bucks for a cheap one to like 300 bucks. I know you can pick up an NVIDIA resonator and you can swap it out. I've seen it been done with different cars, not necessarily on the Eclipse, but that's probably my biggest recommendation. Now if you are running the DNA short tube headers, I definitely recommend just doing that, since it'll get rid of most of the rasp. Now if you do not have the short tube headers or long tube headers and you're just running stock headers, I feel like if you just go with the cab back, it has a nice tone. And if you do the 3.5 manifold swap, it actually changes how it sounds just a little bit, and it gets a little bit more airflow in there. So that's another option for you. I think it's just kind of where your setup is at right now and what you're kind of going for. If you're going for a deeper tone, a little bit of a quieter tone, but yeah, mine's definitely in the deeper side. But as I said earlier on the video, keep in mind, I do have a 3.5 swap on the car, so that does change how the car sounds just a little bit. Because when I was running the 3.0 compared to the 3.5, I can hear a drastic difference between them, especially in the exhaust setup. But the biggest thing is those long tube headers. If you can get your hands on them, that's probably your best choice to getting a deep sound out of them. But yeah, that's just basically covering my whole little setup. If you guys do have any other questions, or if you guys want a recommendation based off of how your car sounds, just let me know in the comments. You guys could submit clips onto the Instagram of what your car sounds like and ask for a recommendation if you're trying to swap out something, or if you guys are having a hard time with finding what specific exhaust you want to run. And just as I said, just depending on your budget. But yeah, because there's multiple ways that you can make this car sound really nice. Just the biggest drawback is the rasp, and that's just the heads. The heads are just raspy. That's probably the biggest thing. But if you can get rid of it throughout the exhaust, then you should be fine. But as I said, on mine, I'm just running the long tube headers, no cats, and that just goes straight into a cherry bomb, and that just goes straight back into the muffler. I do have the O2 sensor bypassed, so I don't have any codes for any of that. For sure, just let me know if you guys have any other questions, or if you guys want to know anything else. And if you guys want to see more Eclipse content on the 3G, make sure to check out some of the other videos we have on the channel. Besides that, I think this is pretty much it, and I'll see you guys later.
I remember when we met, taking drugs to numb the pain.